Yo, what's good? It's been Fire here back with another video. And today we're going to be hopping into another College Football 26 breakdown. Today we're going to be going over the gun trips tight end formation, which is once again one of the better offenses in this video game. Now, there's a lot to love about this offense. Trips tight end is just solid. It is in a few different books. The one we're going to use today is going to be Oklahoma State's offensive playbook. If you guys watched me last year, I did do an ebook on this, but I don't have one out at the moment. I think I'm going to work on a UCLA ebook for tomorrow. Let me know which other ones you guys want to see. I've seen a lot of comments, but a lot of different ones, so looking to get a consensus, but we'll obviously be dropping a lot of those, so just stay tuned. Yours will probably get made at some point, but yeah, trips tight end, Oklahoma State playbook. There's a lot to like in this offense. I like this wide shallow cross play. This alert counter flat is actually not bad, believe it or not. And then we have a few motion plays. These are decent, but I don't love the auto motion. It kind of gives away the play. It's a little bit slower. Texas, very solid on the left there. Flood can be okay. We will go over flood slightly. And then we have X spot and verticals. So the audibles I like are Texas, X spot, verticals, quick base. Once again, Oklahoma State's offensive playbook. You have this little bunch strong that's actually decent. A few other good formations too. I like the wing trips. But yeah, you're usually going to have your trips on the wide side. Let's start out with this Texas play. And I'll try and switch from different stuff defensively, but we'll just kind of switch between like cover 3, cover 2, cover 1, cover 0 rather. All right, now let's start out in this Texas play. Now Texas is going to be solid for a few reasons, and the main reason that we like Texas is for this little angle route. Now this play was a little bit better before we could like custom hot route with that angle route, but you have a nice little deep corner out with this tight end that I don't use all that often, but it's not bad. And then you have kind of a deeper post. I don't know why. You have a deeper post with Y, deeper out route, but we're going to kind of hot route around this play. The first setup is going to be X on an out route, Y on the corner, and B on a drag. Good little quick snap setup. The first read is just going to be this little out route. If you can hit him, it's going to be solid. Because of the spacing of the trips, the slot corner is always going to match up with the slot wide receiver generally, and especially with no baseline, he's probably going to be even further inside in some cases. So usually there will be some kind of bumping, and I can't hot route anymore or snap the ball. I love you, EA. But usually there's some kind of bumping, and that route's going to be open, really, unless he puts that slot corner on like a hard flat, or if he mans him up. So you can throw it every once in a while. I wouldn't get greedy and like just come out and throw it 5 times in a row, because that's where you will get caught. But it's good every once in a while. So we have that open. Now the corner out's not really going to work. Depending on the coverage, it could work maybe against a cover 2, but even then, based on how cover 2 plays this year, what's probably going to end up happening is the out route's just going to kind of be open late. But you can kind of fit it in this window if you're able to. It's not a bad option, but that's going to be our first setup. And then you have like the basic kind of drag angle route concept where we can just check it down to one of these guys. They should come up with the catch. A very good man coverage setup as well, because you have the corner routes with both players, and then you have the drag angle route. So you give yourself a few options here. It's just not great protection, but some of these guys should get open, like right there. He's open over the top. The tight end, you would hope would get separation if he's good enough, but that's our first setup. Setup number 2, we're going to go ahead and deep cross A. We're going to flat RB. We're going to put X on the out route, and then we're actually going to go ahead and motion B over. So we're going to motion him from left to right. This is a solid play. It just kind of attacks the defense well. You have X on that out route again, and what you can do is still snap the ball and throw it to X. If not, you have some good options. Y, more of a clear out, but we're trying to open up either A or B, and then you have R1 that's probably just going to be sitting open here. But good little spacing play. I don't know what is up with Arkansas's pass rush, but they are really good, because I never have time to throw, or my right tackle is really bad. But regardless, again, you're going to motion him across, put A on a deep cross, X on an out route, and then just R1 on a flat. Here's a look. So let's say we do get some time. Then you can see that X is actually going to be the one open late. Obviously, if he's usering and he comes down, that's where you can hit A more so. But, right, it just depends on the coverage that he's playing. So those little out routes, they're good this year. I wish you could put like a hitch out there, because those are my favorite, but unfortunately it's not a thing. But you could even just check it down here, solid spacing against cover 2. In the crosser, it could get open. It's more of a good man beater, but it's also open against some other things. Setup number 3, what we're going to do is deep cross B. We're going to put A on just an out route here. And then what we're going to go ahead and do is put Y on a corner, X on an out route again. So nice little spacing concept on the left. And then we have, this is a good man coverage beater play, I would say. A lot of man beaters on our field. We have this little crossing combo that can get open in this little window here against the cover 3, against cover 2. Probably the out route would be more open. We'll try it out, but this is a good man beater mainly, I would say. But again, you're just going to put A on an out route. We'll leave R1 on his little angle route. So you see there, it's a lot tighter. He actually comes up with it. If you can throw it in that window, then it can still work. But definitely tighter, and the tight end looks like he ends up getting open later. So he is solid. Another thing that I like doing just to kind of spin off of this is you can leave Y on that little backside post as well if you wanted, something like this. And then what you can actually do is put A on like this little return route that kind of gets open decently well. So this is just a good man beater. You can see how he gets open in the slot, especially if that hook curl is there and it's a cover 3, because he's going to just be eating up that space. You can even leave him on the stock post. It's a little bit deeper, and that could work a little better. The return is going to be good for spacing, but also if you want, you can zig the tight ends too. So if I wanted to, I could like leave the angle route and zig him, and this is just going to give us another man beater, and he's going to be a little bit slower. So now this is more of an easier pass than the standard out route, although it may not work as a clear out better. Generally, that underneath throw is a lot more open this year than it was in years previous, so you want to take those checkdowns. The zig is going to be more effective than the out route. Setup number 4, we're going to deep cross B, drag A, and then we're going to go ahead and motion X across, and then we're going to put him on just like an out route. You could also do the zig from here. I don't love it from this position, but honestly, this year it's not as bad. So kind of a similar looking setup to the previous one, but this is just a solid like kind of bunch tight end setup. You could also do the same thing, and then what you could do is streak X if you'd like, but just a solid spacing concept. Really good man coverage beaters on this play. Let's hop into some man coverage. So if we are facing a cover 1, the motion is kind of the slowest part of the play, but that's honestly fine. So again, if you wanted to streak him, you definitely could. Like if we wanted to fade him, he could get some separation here. We're really trying to hit this crosser mainly, but we have a few other options. And if it's cover 0, the post could get open. And if you know it's cover 0, you could also like just throw Y on a corner out for some better spacing, or to hope that he gets opened up. But solid play there. We got our last setup. We're going to corner B, zig Y. We're going to motion X out, and we're going to just put him on, again, either like an out route or a zig or something there to kind of sit in that position. I wish I could do a hitch, but even if you wanted to just do a smoke screen here, he's probably going to sit and hold that position well, and he's honestly an option to throw the ball to. The zig is probably going to work fine or even a little bit better, but that's a solid option. So again, we're going to corner B, we're going to zig Y, and then we're just going to motion this player across, and we could also put him on a zig. Honestly, you could probably do the return route too. But just a solid man coverage spacing play. You can hit this zig over here on the left. If it's a cover 2, maybe the corner out is a little bit more open, but overall solid play. Let's hop into our next play, which is going to be X spot. Now X spot is going to be a little bit similar, but with some other better options. I like having this play. You can't really run trips without this play, in my opinion. It's too valuable. Now X spot, what we're going to do for our first setup is slant B, post A. We're going to streak Y, and then we're just going to flat R1. It's going to look like this. And first read is always going to be this slant. It was usually a lot more open in years past. It still is open. It's a little bit of a tighter throw. So be just aware of that. But we have a nice little high-low read series here. We're really switching between B and R1 and then A and X. So kind of 2 high-low reads here. Now the tight end runs this route like an idiot. He gets pressed to absolute hell, and I think that's because this tight end is not very good, because his route running is awful. He ran that route like a newborn baby, but depending on the coverage, he should be a little bit better at potentially getting open. I guess he does suck. He can't catch or he can't run routes. But you can see he was open there at least. I love this spot route. It can definitely get open against a lot of coverages. It's pretty good against just any sitting coverage. And if he's usering, he's going to forget about it a lot. And you see here, just against the base cover 2, he definitely gets open, and the tight end should bring up those zones at least a little bit. He's usually the one that you can hit. I look for the slant or the flat early. If none of those are open, I try to hit the tight end, but a lot of times the tight end is good for clear out purposes. And so usually I'll just end up hitting the spot route. If none of those open, you try to kind of roll out to the right, hope for a bounce back, that type of thing. So next setup for X spot, we're going to slant B. We're going to post A. We're going to put the running back on an out to the left, and then we're going to put Y on a little out route. And then I'm going to kind of just motion this guy over. Like this. So pretty similar setup. Obviously the difference is no clear out with the streak, so you'll kind of be able to see how that actually affects the play. It does definitely open up the running back a little bit later, but it doesn't make the slant as open as it was. Spacing just not as good on that play. But of course, more of a man coverage beater. It just gives you like another option, right? And it gives you a little bit better of spacing. You can also motion snap him if you like, I think. Maybe if you just hot route him beforehand. But here you see B is open. I threw that wildly late. Honestly, the out route on the right was open. He was open. Literally everybody was open on that play. But I just threw it a little late. Let's take a look at the replay so we can see this a little bit better. But like if you throw him here, boom, he's wide open. He's wide open. The running back is wide open like here. If you just want to throw it to him, you can pick up 5 yards. He is open. And I like the out routes because they will kind of come back this year. Post is not really open, but could I throw it here? You could. Click on, undercut. So you definitely have options if you're facing man-to-man coverage. Then you're really looking for R1, A, or B potentially. But like there, he should be able to, even with terrible route running, he was able to get a little bit of separation just because of the big body. So definitely a solid play. Now, X spot, this corner out is pretty solid, but the problem is the streak I don't love because they can't just put him on a fade or a normal streak. So sometimes what I'll do is just do like a post route and try to make that as deep as possible. I like this stock flat with Harbor. I think he is very dangerous. So what you can do even is like a little streak or a little return, or you could even do like a wheel route and a return, something like this. And you can see how this route, he runs super fast. He also has the takeoff ability, so he's going to get a little bit of a better release, and he's super fast just regardless. But I like the post for the better release. The streak would probably work fine, right? And then different options on this right side, you can really do whatever you want, but you can see he should have caught that, but also how that kind of hurts him. If you wanted to, just put him on like the manual corner out, maybe it's a little bit better. I don't know that it breaks any differently. Guess that wouldn't really work well. You could also just block the running back, right? So if we use the streak instead, it opens him up a little bit better. Not the greatest throw, but it's kind of a tight thing anyway. So if you wanted to, you could kind of, and we had this set up in Texas, but like this corner out play, it does open up a little bit better. If you're facing cover 2 and we try to run that setup. And we'll have some good cover 2 beaters out of verticals, but you see how the fade route gets bumped, and then it's like he's open, but it's a tighter thing. That's why I would mainly sometimes go with the post route, because I don't want that to happen, but that's what kind of happens in cover 2, so it's just something that you need to be aware of, right? But let's go to verticals, which is going to be our next play. We have some setups out of verticals, some setups out of flood, and then some setups out of, or one setup out of the Y shallow cross. Let's go to the Y shallow cross first, because we do only have one setup, and then I'll talk about the runs just briefly. But Out of the Y shallow cross, we like Y here. We're really going for a cover 3 beater, so we'll usually set up like this: drag X, corner A, streak B, then I smart out Y to get him a little bit deeper. Now, obviously the time is the most important thing here. Dude, this right tackle is god awful. He cannot hold his block. I had the running back blocked and he freaking did nothing. He's like, even when I'm practicing these plays, he's freaking getting killed. But this is what it should look like. Perfect execution there. Obviously now we get the time, but basically what's going to happen is the outside third on the right is going to fall down just on this corner route. No hot routing needed. And even though he recovers, he's so far to the numbers, and this guy's coming from the slot, that it's not going to make any difference. Like, he kind of starts to recover, but the ball's already in the air by the time he actually starts running back. And even though it may not be a touchdown, could I have waited and it could have been a touchdown potentially? But not always the case. If you throw it a little bit later like that, then you have a little bit better chance, but even then you'll take your 50 yards. It's a very solid play. Now, would it work against a different coverage? Potentially, because the streak should also split the difference a little bit. The deep half should get pulled over to the right-hand side, and then this should work. Like, you could kind of hit him underneath, if that makes sense. I'll try it one more time. Honestly, the mid-reads run so far this year that it's a little bit tougher than obviously it would be normally. But, like, if you threw this guy here, then you still could split the difference. And it's almost like he's in the inside third, and it kind of turns into a cover 3 at that point because the vert hooks are not going to sprint 40 yards up the field. And that's why we have the drag, because that also pulls them down a little bit. So it would work against cover 3, cover 2. Against man, I would probably stay away, but just a solid play. And shallow cross is not in every trips tight end, so I don't think it's in the Bowling Green one, if I'm mistaken. So let's go to verticals. Verticals is going to be solid. Verticals is always just good. It's just always a staple. Lot to like, especially if you're just facing any kind of a pressed man-to-man coverage. A lot of routes here that could just get open. Like even B is a solid little over route, and he should get separation. Now I know we have one of the better receivers in this game playing that position, but it does just kind of get open stock, and we have a lot of good man beaters. The first setup is going to be deep cross A, flat RB, and drag Y. Just some good deeper concepts, slower developing. If he's only rushing 3, then you could use this, kind of take advantage. If not, you can always check down. I probably shouldn't have checked down, I guess. Really, I want to hit A or B here if I'm able to. He gets wide open. That's a perfect pass there. We're hoping the user kind of sprints on the drag, falls asleep. Obviously, if he follows the crosser with the tight end, then we can hit just one of those underneath routes. Does he get open? Not really without a clear out. He's not as good. There will be times where you can hit him. Obviously, like the man coverage. Let's say you're facing cover 2. How does that change things? The drag is a lot more open now. Underneath route is a lot more open. So usually I'm just hitting the table or the drag, and if I can't hit that tight end, then I can use that as well. Setup number 2 is going to be corner B, drag Y, angle R1. So it's going to look like this. Again, kind of a similar looking setup that we had out of Texas. Nice man beaters, good deep corner route with Harbor here, and he does make the play, and that's the difference between having the corner out on Y or triangle versus B or circle. So again, here's a look. Angle R1, drag Y, corner B. If it's man coverage, you have this quick little hitter with A, but also he's going to bring up the zone and open up Y. We do get hit there, but angle routes covered, so we would have hit the drag or the corner out here. That's really what you're looking at. Let's say we face Tampa 2. This is a decent quick snap setup as well. Holy Toledo. I was going to say I want to use South Carolina Online, but after watching them block, and I'm not even on Heisman difficulty, I'm definitely concerned. That's good blocking. So probably better against cover 3, cover 4 than cover 2. Against man, it would be okay. Setup number 3, what we're going to do is just drag X, flat RB. Pretty simple looking play here. Attacking vertically if we notice him falling underneath, then we could take advantage deep. Hit that guy there. I don't know why the hook curl is just actually carrying that far, because if he's going to play like that, then what you would do is literally just fire it underneath. If he's going to carry that much, like just hit this route every time. I don't know why he's playing like that. As far as the seam, you could also hit him in that little seam. If that hook curl is going to sprint over to the right hard, and again, it's harder against the CPU. You want to pretend that it's one of those guys is usering, and he's always going to follow those underneath routes. So those over the top backside things will usually be open. Like even if I put a backside post here and just put like a baby out route, this concept would probably work against the cover 3. I guess he's sitting very deep. Well, you would have hit the angle route there. I didn't expect him to really sit back that far. Maybe if you do the hitch, this probably would work. Little hitch route. Yeah, so that's a better concept, but these are the types of things that you can take advantage of just based on the coverage that he's playing. And again, if he's a D-line user, he's going to sit back. You want to attack deep. So have that hitch there. Boom, pass lead. You want a possession catch, but solid concepts. You can use those hitch routes constantly. Like, just even a basic 4-route combo. He's never really going to be expecting that. He's going to be watching the tight end on something stupid and all those other things. So, solid concept. And again, let's say we face cover 2. The big thing with this play is that seam route should get open late. I don't know. We're going to try out the setup. Maybe I have to leave X on his streak route, but I think it would have been open. It's probably better stock, though, because the mid-read always follows that deep over route with Harbor, which is nice. So, I'm getting no time to throw, but I was also in the wrong defense anyway. I'm so sick of having no time to throw. So if it is cover 2, then boom, it can be bombs away down the middle of the field, and that's how you beat cover 2. So most people will probably not run cover 2 against you because you can just beat them deep, or you force the middle third instead of the mid-read, which makes it a lot worse because the mid-reads are super good this year. They play super aggressive defending backside posts and crossers and all that, so you will definitely hurt his defense if you're able to get him out of that. Let's go into a flood, which is going to be kind of our last concept core passing play. And this is interesting. It's not the best play on paper, but you can kind of use those certain routes to your advantage. First setup, just zig Y, wheel RB. We're going to put B on an in route, and then we're just going to motion him across. No, not you. Oh, I love how when I motion one person, I can't motion the rest of the time. What an awesome video game. The motioning thing is so stupid. How you like barely click onto someone and they sprint over like a freaking idiot. But here's a look at that setup. I think you can motion snap him, but we're trying to open up R1. It's probably better if you don't motion snap him, looking at the way that developed. But honestly, not a bad quick snap setup. You're just incorporating some quick motion. High-low on the left. The wheel is who we're trying to hit. Maybe it's better if you're a little bit... I guess it's still open. It's probably honestly a little bit better from the left hash actually on this play. Just because a lot of it is going to be obviously the flood concept of going right to left. So if you ever are on... Even the middle hash is going to be like a little bit better. And I can't hot route. Stupid video game. But let's go into the next setup regardless. Actually, I want to show it one more time because I want to show off the other routes. We'll run it one more time. So you have the zig. Probably here you're just going to end up hitting. If he's playing 5-yard zone drops, then obviously the crosser is going to be your go-to. Setup number 2, drag Y, wheel RB. We're going to post X, and then we're going to put B on that in route. We're going to motion him across again. Using the wheel route is a good concept. This is just pretty good man-beating play with a lot of options. Hit this drag. Looking to mainly hit the wheel route early. That's going to always be our first read. Your later read is going to be that drag if nothing develops. But you could really create this play out of any thing. You're just kind of using the stock deep cross, but you can also just hot route the deep crosses now. So let's say we do this. You hit this post in the middle of the field. Crosser may be open late. Solid play. Last setup is going to be corner Y, put B on an out route, and we're going to put R1 on a flat. It's going to look like this. So trying to hit him over the top. This is a pretty good spacing way to do it. Very similar look to the X spot, but obviously we're using that stock fade that we get. And I like the out route a little bit better. And then you're just kind of leaving a heavy flood concept. We could hit this tight end quickly. Also, if he sprints over with the out route, we could do that. We could probably throw the out route too. Honestly, he's open, right? But this is just a solid quick snap setup. Really, we're trying to hit Y here. Boom, perfect. So let's show some of the RPOs and the runs now. Now with the run, we got quick base. I like base. Inside zone maybe better. I haven't tried it too much, but they're both good, right? Boom, there you see base working pretty well. Our running back's a little bit slower, but I don't run the ball too often if I'm in trips, but it doesn't hurt to run, at least a couple times a drive. We all want to pass because it's more fun. It's kind of more skilled. It takes more thinking, but it doesn't hurt to run. Now 78, if you can't hold a block on a linebacker, we got issues. Or I guess that's a D lineman. Fair enough. The numbers always confuse me. So we got that. And then let's go to the RPO. I'll just probably show it a few times. Inside zone, basic. RPO alert, counter flat. The counter part of it doesn't really matter. But this route can be solid. You want to try and get him upfield. I won't throw it too early, but you don't want to throw it too late either. Probably the more space you have, the better. So being on a far hash probably benefits you. Kind of want to wait to throw it. Now, sometimes the animations you'll get will suck. I don't recommend like heavy pass leading, but if you want to freeform it, you could. Just to get a better animation out there. But even if you pick up 5 yards on that, it's a win. It's an easy 5 yards. You had to make no decisions. If you do have to hand the ball off, then it's not an awful run. It's basically just like a slower quick base. Kind of like an off tackle with a pulling guard. But obviously you want to hit this guy. And even cover 2, cover 3, they both should be open. There shouldn't, if it's like cover 0 and there's a corner on that left, that's where I probably don't do it. But you see how the linebacker is staying home. Maybe he plays that aggressive. If he really does follow the receiver, then that's when you just hand it off. Even if you don't want to throw a pick. You never want to throw a pick on an RPO. Make him earn the interception by playing actual good defense. But that's going to do it for the video. If you guys enjoyed, hit that like, subscribe to the channel down below. Let me know what you guys want to see next. And peace. I'm out of here.